What if, hidden behind the ancient temples, sacred rivers, and millennia-old spiritual traditions of India, there lies a secret directly connected to God's plan of salvation, a secret concealed in the Bible from the very beginning, and when revealed, it could change the way you see human history, the spread of the gospel, and the unfolding of the final events to come. India, though never mentioned by name in the Bible, has a deep and intricate connection to the stories, the people, and the prophecies recorded over 3,000 years ago. India's connection to the Bible may begin with the descendants of Noah. After the Great Flood, in Genesis chapter 10, the Bible records the table of nations, the genealogy of how the world was repopulated after the flood. One of Noah's 3 sons, Japheth, is considered the ancestor of many Gentile nations, especially those who migrated across Europe and Asia. Some biblical scholars believe that the descendants of Japheth, particularly through his son Javan, are linked to the Indo-European peoples, including those who would later inhabit India. This connection places India in the biblical narrative from the very beginning, as part of the great dispersion of nations after the flood. India's ancient civilization, renowned for its advanced culture, deep spirituality, and flourishing trade, may have indirectly participated in the biblical world through trade routes mentioned in Scripture, such as the legendary wealth of King Solomon, possibly connected to spices, precious stones, and gold, originating from India, 1 Kings 10:22. Now, fast forward to one of the most fascinating aspects of India's biblical link, the story of the Apostle Thomas. Thomas, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ, famously doubted the resurrection until he touched the wounds of the risen Lord. After the ascension of Jesus, Thomas embarked on a bold and far-reaching journey to the Indian subcontinent. According to Christian tradition, Thomas arrived in India around AD 52, landing on the shores of Kerala in the south. This was not a simple mission to nearby lands, but a sea crossing to a territory already steeped in ancient faiths like Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. Thomas is credited with establishing some of the earliest Christian communities in India, particularly the Marthoma Christians of Kerala, who claimed direct descent from his missionary work. This means that India was among the very first nations to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, long before many parts of Europe embraced the faith. But here is where the story becomes even more compelling. Could Thomas's mission to India have been a direct fulfillment of an unspoken part of the Great Commission, to take the gospel to the ends of the earth? When Jesus gave that command in Matthew 28-19:20, India was seen as the edge of the known world, a mysterious, distant land, rich in wisdom and spiritual heritage. By reaching India, Thomas may have symbolically fulfilled the mission of taking the good news far beyond the borders of Israel and Rome. Some traditions even suggest that Jesus himself may have visited India. While this is debated, it appears in apocryphal writings and Eastern traditions. The so-called lost years of Jesus, those not described in the New Testament, are, according to some sources, years in which he traveled east, particularly to India, to learn spiritual wisdom, before beginning his public ministry. Though not part of the biblical canon, this story has persisted in Christian and Indian tradition for centuries. Could it be that India, a land famous for spiritual and philosophical depth, played a mysterious role in shaping the earthly ministry of Christ? India, with its rich religious history, has long been a spiritual battleground. Today, it remains home to Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Sikhism, and Christianity. Yet its place in biblical prophecy is often overlooked. Some theologians believe that India's extraordinary religious diversity positions it as a key player in the ultimate fulfillment of the Great Commission, the spread of the gospel to every nation before the end comes. Matthew 24:14. In Revelation 7-9, the Bible describes a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne of God. Imagine India with over 2,000 distinct ethnic groups and hundreds of languages represented in that vision. This vast diversity and enormous population suggests that India could be one of the final harvest fields before the end of the age. Although Christianity in India has faced resistance for centuries, it has endured and even thrived in certain regions. The Marthoma community and the rapid growth of Christianity in India's northeast are powerful examples. While Thomas planted the first seeds of Christianity in India, it was not until the European colonial era that the faith spread more widely. The Portuguese arrived in the 16th century, followed by the Dutch and the British. Although colonialism brought many hardships, it also carried the gospel to countless people who had never heard it. British missionary pioneers like William Carey established schools, translated the Bible into local languages, and proclaimed the message of Christ across the subcontinent. Yet Christianity in India continued to coexist alongside other powerful traditions like Hinduism, Islam, and Sikhism. The bigger question is this: could India be destined for a pivotal role in the last days? While biblical prophecy does not mention it by name, the nation's spiritual weight and rising global influence suggest that it could stand at the center of future world events. In fact, India has one of the largest numbers of unreached people groups on Earth, making it a vital mission field. Its religious diversity also makes it a place of intense spiritual warfare. The Bible teaches that nations are judged by their response to God's truth, and India, a nation long devoted to many gods, may be standing at a crossroads. Will it embrace the gospel, or will it continue to resist it, as it has for centuries? In the book of Revelation, the final judgment will see people from every nation either standing with Christ or against him. With over 1 billion people, India will undoubtedly be present in that moment. From its deep roots in biblical history to its status as one of the earliest nations to receive the gospel, India is woven into God's redemptive story. As we draw nearer to the completion of the Great Commission and the end of the age, India's role may become more and more visible, and perhaps, right now, history is entering a chapter where India will not merely be a witness, but will become a decisive battleground in God's plan of salvation. The seeds of the gospel, planted nearly 2,000 years ago, continue to grow quietly amidst the vast landscape of ancient faiths, and now, the harvest is drawing near. When the vision of Revelation is fulfilled, voices from every tribe and tongue will rise in worship, and among them will be the voices from the land of India. The real question for us is not, does India have a role in prophecy, but rather, what will we do to be part of that day? For when God has decreed, not a single nation, not a single soul, will be forgotten in his eternal plan.